In 2015, on February 16th, Carlei was 13 years old and was diagnosed with stage 4 osteosarcoma that had metastasized to her lungs. And for those of you that might not know what that is, that's bone cancer, and it's one of the most aggressive bone cancers that's out there. It's not considered a soft tissue cancer, but it does come through the marrow. So we immediately did not know what to do. We were just basically going off of what doctors had told us, and in that process they immediately gave us a protocol of 48 weeks of chemotherapy, which would total 46 treatments. And we were trying to do our best to pray and get geared up for that, and not knowing what was going to come. We just knew that the prognosis wasn't good from what we were being told. So we started chemotherapy, and after 12 weeks of chemotherapy, we found that none of what we were doing was working, and Carlei's cancer had progressed. And it was found originally in her left upper leg above the knee and the femur. And what they found after 12 weeks of chemo was not only was the cancer still very much alive, but it had increased in size and was moving down her leg. And the decision that had to be made was to amputate her leg to save her life. Knowing that we still had spots in her lungs that we couldn't yet deal with, we had to go to Carlei and try to help her understand what this meant. So not only the challenges of cancer was there, but so was now the challenge of learning how to deal with an amputee and what it looked like to be amputated as a 13-year-old. So that was on June 22nd of that year. We continued another set of chemotherapy. They changed the drugs. The oncologist decided that those drugs wasn't working, so we'll give her new drugs. And what we noticed with the next set of chemo was the spots didn't increase in the lungs, where there was no new spots, so they just stopped chemo at the end of the quote-unquote protocol. For 6 months, Carlei was considered in remission, and things started to go somewhat back to normal. But in that 11-month period up to her remission time, she had suffered 46 rounds of chemotherapy, a biopsy, probably over 20 blood transfusions and platelet transfusions, and multiple times of in and out of the hospital with fevers due to the chemo. And what we noticed with Carlei is when she wasn't on chemo, she was very healthy and getting back to normal, and her strength would come back. So the beginning of 2016, Carlei had broken her hip and had to have 3 screws put in her hip due to the bone density issues caused by chemo and by not being able to walk on her prosthetic because of being so weak from the chemo. They ended up putting 3 screws in her hip, and then it was starting over again. And then about 8 weeks after that, we had our scans due, and we found that Carlei had a pretty good size spot on her right lung. They immediately wanted to go in and just do surgery and take it out. With us not necessarily knowing what the right decision was at that time, we just wanted to act on it as quick as possible. So after that time period, there was 8 more weeks that went by with no chemotherapy, just normal style living, somewhat what we could to get back on our feet. And we did scans 8 weeks later, and now there was 4 new spots, 2 in each lung. We made contact with Adam. I can't even remember exactly how that was, but we came into his office, and we all 3 wanted to get scans, not just Carlei, because anything we do along Carlei's side in this journey, we do with her. And ultimately what we found was Carlei at 14, her neck was in worse shape than mine was at 41, and the alignment of her spine was quite a bit different than what mine or my wife's was, and we were over twice her age. So knowing what we learned with trying to feed her the right things, give her the right vitamins, We had tried acupuncture, acupressure, we had tried massage therapy, we had tried so many different things, and those are all good things, but what we were missing was the health of her spine. So to begin the next round of chemo, Carlei decided she wanted to not only do chemo, but she wanted to try some things with Adam and try to cut out sugar in her diet, try to increase the vegetable and fruit intake, and increase her vitamin D level. And with some great counsel from Adam and everyone at the Maximize Living, just educating us on what the 5 essentials was like and how our body should heal. We knew that our chemical makeup is natural from God and it should not be through pharmaceuticals. So we jumped in with both feet, and what we noticed is within 8 weeks, not only did Carlei's C-curve start coming back in her neck, but we also noticed in her scans that tumor growth had stopped and started to calcify. What's interesting is the oncologist felt like maybe he was doing something right at this time with the drugs, but what we know is God's design is much better than what a doctor's is. And what they practice, God is perfect in. So we give all that praise to God, and then we also know that Adam is, and everybody here is divinely put into Carlei's life and our life to help save her life. And so we continue. Adam began adjusting Carlei 3 to 4 times a week. So where we're at today is Carlei has now had over 56 chemotherapy treatments. She's had a portion of her right lung taken out. We have stopped chemotherapy. We have asked God to continue to guide us and to be a part of Maximize Living and the family that we've come to know so well here. So up to this point, Carlei's thriving. She's walking again. She has a new prosthetic. She looks forward to each time she gets to come in to see Adam, and she looks forward to the events that Maximize Living puts on, and knows that even at the age of 14, that this can not only change people's lives, but save people's lives. And what we want as a family is, no matter what the outcome is out of this journey, we know that God's will be done, but we won't never stop. And we'll continue to encourage people to come see Adam and the crew here at Desired Health and be a part of the Maximize Living team. We know that chemotherapy's design is to kill, but we also know that God's design is to live. And I believe he's very perfect in all his ways, and Carlei does too, and we know what we're doing right now is not hurting her body any at all. It is actually improving her health, and that's what's important to us. So anyone that may be watching this, I would encourage them, if you have any type of health issues or know someone that does, or if you just love someone enough to just want to share this, I would encourage you to do that, because you may feel okay, but what I've learned in my life is if you play off of your feelings, usually it's too late, or you can lose what has been started. So it's never too late, but I would definitely jump on the opportunity that's given. So thank you very much.